Sam Darnold will be the fifth quarterback since 1980 to make the Super Bowl in his first season with a team. Previous to Darnold, the last quarterback to do it was his opposing quarterback on Sunday, Matthew Stafford. Stafford, remember, won his Super Bowl as those previous four quarterbacks combined go 3-1. RC, how did Darnold and that offense get it done yesterday? Because so much of the conversation's been around the defense, but the offense really stepped up.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And I felt like Clint Kubiak treated Sam Darnold like a great three-point shooter. He got some layups early with Kenneth Walker III being the recipient of some screens, some easy pass, some run pass options, and then they started to shoot the deep ball. You think about the aggression that we saw late in the second quarter on the corner post to JSN. Then you hit JSN out of the backfield. Right after you get the turnover, you hit Bobo. And then late in that game, putting the football into Sam Darnold's hand, if you're Clint Kubiak, backed up on 2nd and 6 on your 10-yard line, on 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 8 on the pass we saw to Cooper Kupp. This team believed in Sam Darnold all along, and I feel like they've been building momentum to this point from the fourth quarter of the Week 16 game against the Rams, and everything flowed perfectly yesterday.
I think that's where I'm going, RC. This was carryover from the ending of that game and the confidence that Sam Darnold played with. Look, we talked about it all week. We thought this run game, which has its successful moments, obviously, was going to be the catalyst and the calling card. And they were like, no. This will be Sam Darnold's game. And we saw him execute to the highest level. Let's not forget, y'all, Sam Darnold against this team had 6 total turnovers during the regular season. And Clint Kubiak, to your point, RC, was like, look, man, you got to go out. You got to push the ball down the field. You got to find the matchups that work. And the thing that was beautiful about it is he spread the football around. Obviously, JSN had a huge night. But going to Cooper Kupp in some critical situations, knowing that Cooper has been in those moments before, you see him throw the ball to Mike Bobo in the end zone, matched up as one-on-one.
Jake Bobo.
This was a coming out party to me for Sam Darnold about how they went about getting him to be the guy in the game. And look, I know sometimes the game plan calls for it, and you can go out and take advantage of mismatches. And we've talked about this secondary with the Rams, but they trusted Sam Darnold this game, and they did not let the first two deter them.
Hell of a time for Sam Darnold to have his best game of the season, right? Given the opponent and the stage. And really what the Seahawks offense had done the second half of the season, which was struggle. I also thought it was Clint Kubiak's best game of the season. We've hit on some of it. The way he got JSN open using motion and alignment, but also the way he used JSN as the queen on the chessboard to create opportunities for other. You talk about the Jake Bobo, the post touchdown. He gets a one-on-one because the safety shades towards JSN. They made some, I thought, really clever adjustments. Seahawks used trips formations at the lowest rate in the NFL this season. Cranked it up this year, in this game to a top 10 rate, recognizing that they could flood the Rams zone coverage to one side continuously, getting guys open that way. And then I want to highlight this final drive, guys, the drive at the 4.5-minute mark. How many times in those moments have we seen defensive head coaches shrivel up and say, cool, run the ball. We don't want to put it in harm's way. They called 2 play-action passes on second down that they converted. So credit to Kubiak, but also to Mike McDonald for having the courage in that moment, because that's what allowed them to win the game and keep Matthew Stafford off the field.
Yeah, if you had told the world in 2021 that the coach is going to be aggressive with Sam Darnold at the end of the NFC title game against Matthew Stafford to go to the Super Bowl, everyone would be like, you're out of your mind. Yeah, I think Clint Kubiak ran circles around Chris Shula from a scheme perspective. The amount of motion that they used to chase matchups was great. Okay, you go in before the halftime, okay, you motion over. Now you get the corner outside on Kupp. That leads the nickel on JSN. This is that corner post. He gets a free release. Look at the sell on the route. Gets the safety over the top, and it's the huge chunk. It's really the same throw that Carolina hit him, but it's because of the motion to hunt that matchup that Clint Kubiak found. There's JSN getting him into the backfield. This is just the sail concept out of the backfield. Shaheed is going to lift the coverage. Cooper Kupp holds the underneath coverage, and now JSN is running his route basically on that inside backer, but essentially nobody. That is absolutely enormous by Clint Kubiak and the motion that he chases to go after it. And then later in the game, there's one-on-one. JSN in that reduced split. Here comes Shaheed in motion. What happens? They kick the coverage. Now the corner is going to cover Shaheed. You get the matchup on the nickel. The route running of JSN sells the over, snaps back on the out. This is one of those late, huge completions. When they used motion and threw the ball yesterday, Sam Darnold averaged almost 14 yards per attempt. That's an outrageous number. Clint Kubiak knew who he wanted to go after in the Rams defense, and the way that he used the motion to get it done was flawless.
You guys, we love.
You know what this?
Yeah, y'all, Jake
go
Bobo.
ahead. Go ahead, RC.
Yeah. You know what this felt like, Laura? When I used to play Jordan when he was younger, I would look at his stick when he was playing. We were playing Madden, and I would watch what defense he picked. And I would know exactly where to throw the ball against the defense. Clint Kubiak was painting a picture for Sam Darnold and giving him the answers to the test before the snap, and he executed every single time and got the ball exactly where it was intended to go against each defense.
Yeah, Marcus, really fast, chance to correct the record. You did not mean the Georgia offensive coordinator was catching a pass. That would be incredible.
Think about Coach Bobo.
Listen,
Hey, that's that SEC there right there, boy.
A lot of information.
Hey, there's just not that many
Jake, don't call
Bobos
me
out there, so
Bobo.
it's hard to keep them all straight. I appreciate. That's what we do on this show. We
My
go
bad,
ahead
Jake.
and make sure that our
Jake the Snake.
mistakes, our mistakes are corrected. Congratulations to New England and Mike Vrabel and that entire team. The Patriots have allowed just 26 points, fewer than 9 per game during their 3 playoff games so far. That's the fewest allowed in a 3-game postseason span since the legendary 2000 Ravens defense, which allowed 20 in its final 3 playoff games on their way to a Lombardi trophy. That defense has been so good. Marcus, what stood out to you from the Pats defense on Sunday?
The creativity. I mean, the pressure that they were creating on Jarrett Stidham without necessarily bringing an extra guy when Denver had enough to block it. But the twist on the interior between backers and away, running games with both the ends. You look here, you see Ellis come, he chips. The back has a decision to make for Denver. Do you take Milton? Yeah, but it forces this to be a bad throw by Jarrett Stidham behind him. Huge critical down. Again, they bring the same pressure. You bring the linebacker up, you wrap the defensive tackle, and it now forces Jarrett Stidham to feel like he doesn't have as much time as he does. So again, the protection was there. It was enough people, but they forced the back to be in a game change. And we used to try to do that all the time as interior pressure guys. This is Mike Vrabel at his best. They did a lot of this when he was playing with the New England Patriots, creating those things with Richard Seymour and all of those guys. And you saw it affect Jarrett Stidham in a major way. So beyond them bringing more than you can block, they still get creative, even with games that they run, to create an advantage at getting after the quarterback. They've been phenomenal up front.
And there was a question, right, coming into this one. Okay, the Patriots pass rush has looked so much better in the postseason, but they've gone up against the Chargers offensive line and, of course, the Texans offensive line. This is a Broncos offensive line that's top 10, better than that, quite frankly, by anyone's estimation. A much more significant challenge. And sure, some of that pressure rate comes from quarterback holding on to the football. But to Marcus's point, a lot of it comes from just this Patriots defensive line winning. The defensive tackles in particular stood out to me. Milton Williams, you got what you paid for, man. The biggest free agent signing was excellent last week. Showed up again, 3 quick pressures, including the one where on the boot on 4th down, he forces the incompletion from Jarrett Stidham and Christian Barmore getting that sack. That wasn't against backups. That's against the interior of the Broncos offensive line. All-pro guard Quinn Miners. So when we move ahead to the Seahawks, we'll have a lot of time to go up against that game. It's those defensive tackles, Barmore, Williams, and Kyrus Tonga, who was excellent as well, that I'm watching as the strength of this Patriots unit.
Yeah, it's hard to run the football against a defense that fits the run flawlessly. I mean, that's what New England did, was they made Denver one-dimensional, and they could not run the ball. And when you watch it, you're like, oh, every single one of those guys on defense is fitting the run. Motion, this is the first snap of the game. Linebackers communicate, safety steps into his gap, but everyone has their gap, right? So the safety steps into his gap, then Spillane steps into his gap, and then there's Christian Gonzalez filling his gap as well. You go a little bit later in the game, watch the communication. Gibbons like, hey, you got to go down safety, you got to go down safety. Now watch the gap integrity. Fit it with the shoulder, fit it with the shoulder. Carlton Davis, you got a gap as well. Unbelievable. Just the way that they we're consistently in the right places. Here it comes again. There's that D-line stunt. You got the A gap. I got the C gap. Where's the safety in the B gap? Yep, right there. And so when you watch that tape, you're sitting there going, man, how come Denver couldn't run the football? Because the way that New England fit when it comes to, like, I have to hit with my right shoulder, you got to hit with your left shoulder, somebody's got to fill that gap. It was on a consistent basis showing up, and once again, I'm disappointed because I didn't see this defense like this. I just did it in the regular season. I did not see this defense being as dominant as it is.
Dan, they were so hurt.
I know. Yeah. It's just they've been so impressive.
So it's fair.
Yeah. On behalf of the NFL Live crew, New England Patriots, I would like to apologize. We were not familiar with your game.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm going to tell you what, I thought they were good, and I knew Milton Williams was banged up, and Spillane was out. Christian Gonzalez wasn't healthy the whole season. But they have been historically dominant throughout this playoff run. And you want to talk about those teams? We're talking 2000 Ravens. We're talking 2002 Buccaneers. We're talking the LOB Seahawks. They're as good or better than all three of those defenses. There's been no defense in the playoff as tied in on all three levels as this one. And we talked about the Houston Texans and who they had at corner and the nickel position. No three people have played that well on the back end as Christian Gonzalez, as Carlton Davis, and as Marcus Jones have done in the last 3 weeks. And up front, they have been absolutely dominant. And on the second level, they run and they hit. And I'm talking about the safeties and the backers. Zach Kerr has had this team in one mindset. Try me deep. We don't respect you. We don't trust you. We don't think you can beat us. The safeties are aggressive. The corners are in lockdown coverage. And inside, they are winning at a fast and quick and dynamic rate.
I know we have a ton of time to talk about the Super Bowl matchup, but I cannot wait to see how they handle this Seahawks offense. It's time to bust it up. All right, Marcus, who ate on Sunday? Hey.
Y'all know I usually go with a hit. Y'all know I usually go with somebody getting hit hard or making a big play. But did y'all see that Kenneth Walker dead leg in the backfield?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all, I know y'all saw it because we watch hours of tape. Let me get there. I need the first down. I need the first down. That's what Kenneth Walker said. This was worthy of bust that it up because it wasn't a big hit, but it put somebody on skates, and he hit him with the Euro. First down.
Yeah, for me, it's JSN. And to have 10 catches, over 150 yards, and a touchdown against the Los Angeles Rams, understanding that he was going to be the focal point of this pass offense. It was yards after the catch. It was creating the big play with route running, but it was also clutch plays when his team needed it most. He started the year on fire, and it seems he's finishing that way as well.
All right, I feel a little bad picking another Seahawks game, but, y'all watch the first game. You know what it is. Nick Emanwari, holy mackerel. I mean, he was magnificent in this game. 8 targets, just 2 catches for 5 yards, 3 passes defensed. He is the key to what the Seahawks do, their ability to stay in lighter and sub packages against the Rams' heavy looks. He was amazing in this game as he's been all year.
Marcus Jones sends the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Everyone talks about the 4th down play. This is the play of the game for me. It's 3rd and 6, all-out pressure. Just pay attention to the guy who's ringed. He's a blitzer. Okay, he retraces, puts his hand on the ground to redirect himself. He's out-leveraged by Jarrett Stidham. It's 3rd and 6. This is effort. This is culture. This is toughness. You got to throw at the end to find a way to get your body on Stidham. That leads to the 4th and 1. That leads to the potential of going for it or not. Denver goes for it. They don't get it. You never know what play is going to win the game. Kudos to Marcus Jones, wins him the game.